and try to really get to understand the younger generation, as well as learn. Learn in the classroom and challenge myself and my school and my studies, and really take it serious. So it was an opportunity of a lifetime. Not many have had this opportunity ever, and I just want to embrace it and take it as serious as I can, as far as a golfer, as well as more as a student, but just as well as a golfer as well. Try to compete and hold myself to high standards, like anybody else playing college golf.
All right, if you have a question, you can signify it in the chat, or you can use the emoji and raise your hand, and we will call on you. Our first question comes from Stephen Gaither, HBCU Game Day. Stephen.
Hey, JR, how are you doing? Stephen Gaither, HBCU Game Day. I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but why North Carolina A&T? What was the connection there that made you choose them out of any of the other schools that you could have chosen?
Well, for starters, I wanted to go to an HBCU. That was my whole goal going back to school. I wanted to, give back to my community and my society, and try to change the narrative as far as athletes in general, and then Black men as well. So that was my first goal. And once I actually talked to the academic advisor with the NBPA, Hannah and Ray Allen, having him as a big inspiration to helping me go back to school. This was the best liberal studies program and best situation for me, and it turned out to be the best golf program for me as well.
Our next question comes from Aaron Beard, the Associated Press.
Hey, JR. I'm curious how much over the years when you were in the NBA, did you kind of wonder what it would have been like to have a college experience since you didn't go to UNC when that was the original plan?
I used to think about it a lot, especially the first couple of years when I wasn't really playing my first year, and Carolina wins the NCAA championship. So I definitely thought about it a lot in my early years. And then after a while, school just disappeared in my mind. I didn't think I would, have that urge or want to go back, or let alone courage to go back. And, throughout actually growing up and maturing, I, understand how important education is, and trying to do something in life after basketball, being at the age I am now, which unfortunately is life after basketball, but it is what it is. And but I also give myself a new opportunity with being having that experience, going to college, being able to actually compete with myself in the classroom, as opposed to not taking it as serious in high school and growing up. Because when you grow up, no kid loves school anyway. So especially somebody who in my position at the time. So being able, like I said, being able to compete and challenge myself academically is where my heart is right now, and being able to play golf at the same time is even better. So it gives me incentive to, keep my grades up.
If I could ask a follow-up, you're not exactly the most normal newcomer to a college athletics team with, traveling the world and playing competitively in the NBA. How do you envision your college experience will be now in terms of fitting in? You trying to be one of the guys on the team when you're very different than most guys that are in your position joining a college golf team.
Well, for me, I've always taken the model of I'll never really try to fit in. I'll just be me. Whether I fit in or not, that'll find out through time. Going into a situation, trying to be somebody you're not, and your true colors still gonna come out eventually anyway. So just being me and being who I am and embracing it, and the team embracing that, and me embracing them as well, it's gonna be fun. Obviously, different environments from playing in front of 20,000 people to playing in the a college golf gallery, but shit, it's still as nerve-wracking as shooting a free throw in front of 5,000 people instead of making the 5-foot putt in front of 3. So it all correlates the same for me.
Our next question comes from Jalen Hill.
How you doing, JR? Jalen Hill from Q City Metro. Doing good.
All right, you doing?
If the NBA comes calling, do you plan to return, or are you set on your plans to be at A&T?
I mean, if they come calling, I mean, fortunately, my classes are pretty much online, so my schedule is flexible other than my golf tournaments and working on my golf game. So if the opportunity is there, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to turn it down because that's been my heart and my soul for the last 16, 17 years. So, but the opportunity is to be able to do both, now that would be interesting.
Our next question comes from Scott Davis, Sports Insider.
Hey, JR, thanks for taking time to do this. I saw you were tweeting last night about having to do some college prep work already. I was kind of curious, or coursework already. I was curious if, life in the NBA has kind of prepared you for juggling schoolwork with training, or just how much different the experience already feels like to you.
It's funny, the experience has been really exciting. I've been really eager to do the homework. I've been telling everybody about it as soon as I got an assignment, my first discussion and first introduction and stuff like that, and PowerPoint. And as I get into it, I really, I mean, obviously it's only been not even a week yet, but as I get into it, I just keep getting eager to learn more and join study groups and try to understand and try to, really embrace the lifestyle. Because if I'm going to give it a shot, that's the only way it's going to work. So for me, I wouldn't say the NBA prepared me for this, because it's obviously we have so much more free time, and it's just 2 hours a day, and it's really exercise, something I would have did pretty much for free anyway. So stay in shape. So with that, I don't think they prepare you for it, but if you're prepping as far as a player, trying to learn the scouting reports and stuff like that, I would say yes from that perspective.
Our next question comes from Eddie Hughes, Spectrum TV.
Hey, JR, speaking of tweets, we saw your tweet about Bojangles and the Bowberry biscuit. Was that your first experience?
Oh man, that's my favorite, man. Man, I bought a 6-box. I had to get them. That's that's the best right now I've had for sure. And from any technically, like, I guess, fast food spots or whatever you want to call it, that's the best for sure.
Well, so that was your first experience with Bojangles?
Yeah. No, actually, it wasn't, because when I was out here with CP, my second year, his rookie year, I had Bojangles before, but I never had the Bowberry biscuits. I never knew that. And he never said nothing. Even when we come play in Charlotte during the season, we used to get Bojangles, but nobody ever told me about the Bowberry biscuits. I'm actually upset about that. All these Carolina dudes I had on my teams and played against my whole life, y'all had this and didn't tell me. That's crazy.
He's telling the truth.
Thanks, JR.
Our next question comes from Jalen Gilkey, WFMY News 2.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, JR. Fellow Aggie myself. My question is for you. What's more important to you, your HBCU experience or your student athlete experience?
To me, my HBCU experience. That's originally why I decided to go to school and wanted to endure this whole process. So for me, I would say from that perspective.
And follow up real quick. Does A&T's reputation socially help you make your decision easier?
No, actually, I've never heard anything about A&T, man. When I tell you, like, literally, if you could put college and illiterate next to anybody, it would be me. I have no idea. Unless it was about schools like Carolina, dude, stuff like that. like about playing sports or Miami and stuff like that. I never knew anything about it. And then HBCUs wasn't really brought to my attention, honestly, until I think I was like a junior or senior in high school. I didn't get recruited by any of them. Like, I wasn't anything. It wasn't even a thought, honestly. And,
let's go back to Aaron Beard, Associated Press.
JR, you tweeted about a deadline at midnight and then making the deadline. What was the assignment that you had to accomplish by midnight last night?
so this was my first PowerPoint I've ever done. I've never done a PowerPoint presentation ever in my life. And to actually put, it was, it was more about me for my English class, English 100. And I had to put a presentation about where do I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, for me, because I have a wild imagination, it's going to be very interesting. I don't know if the teacher is prepared, or the professor, I should say, is prepared for that. So, and I'm obviously not the average freshman, so I don't know if how I'm going to do. And they just tell me I got a wild, imagination. So it's going to be interesting, though. It was definitely nerve-wracking because I obviously haven't had to turn anything and like really have approval of anything other than my athletic ability in a really long time. So it's different. It's definitely a different situation to be in.
And to follow up, also, you mentioned at the Wyndham that I guess a conversation with Ray Allen had been part of the idea or encouraged you to do this. I admit I don't know as much about your history with golf, how long you've been playing, and kind of when you began to maybe push yourself. Can you sort of tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've been playing 12 years now. Charlotte Lewis did the way I started playing. Charlotte did a golf tournament in Houston. It was a charity event. He did his first charity event, and I was riding around. He's like, "Man, just come on out and kick it when it's for his charity, whatever." I'm like, "All right, cool." I don't play golf, so he's like, "Yeah, you just ride around with me. I don't play either." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So I'm riding around talking shit to a bunch of dudes who look terrible, swinging the ball in the trees, just playing really bad. And I'm talking shit, and I pull up in this Moses Malone's group. Now, Big Moses, rest in peace, he had an awkward swing, but again, for whatever reason, I have this thing with Hall of Famers. I have a respect factor, so he told me, young fella, you talking all that shit, come hit this ball. So I get up. First time ever, he showed me how to hold the clubs, how to swing, whatever. Hit the ball 300 yards down the fairway. Throw the club back to him, start talking shit, walk off to my cart, drive off, talking junk, whatever. Like an hour and a half later, I pull up on his group later, that same group. He's like, "Man, you bet you can't do it again, talking shit again." I'm like, "All right, bet. Throw me the club." I swing. I couldn't even hit the ball. After that, I was hooked. And probably from that point, for like 5 or 6 years, I was like really, really bad. And then after that, I really started taking it serious with hitting the range and trying to figure out my swing. And I never got a swing coach or anything like that. I was always, Golf Channel trying to little tips, because then I always heard that they mess your swing up and stuff like that. So I was pretty much self-taught. But yeah, I just know how to compete with myself and try to, as being a shooter, and golf is just, it correlates to trying to hit different shots and your creativity. So, and that swing and trying to, have that flow and tempo. So it's easier for some of us, but I'll tell you one thing. I've seen a couple other guys hit golf balls that's in the NBA, and they're not good at all. So it's unfortunate.
All right, we'll close out with this last question here. It comes from Scott Davis.
JR, I was wondering what some of the reaction is from your NBA teammates, guys you've played with, and if you think this move could maybe open the doors to other guys doing the same, going back to school and maybe trying another sport.
I've gotten a lot of great feedback. I still have my Cleveland championship group chat, and we spoke about it, and everybody was really excited for me. And it's been great. And, you know, a couple guys hit me on Instagram and stuff, told me that it was very inspiring to see, and especially of all people me. I don't know why some people are so shocked as me, but it's I'm just happy that people are, you know, at least thinking about it, especially people, you know, that look like me.
I want to thank Coach Watkins and J.R. Smith for joining us. We wish them all the best this season as they go out and compete and try to win a Big South championship. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Certainly, if you have any additional questions, please let me know. My email is bmhollow@ncat.edu. We also recorded this and we'll put it on YouTube for you guys to be able to pull off any transcripts that you may need. We hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for covering Aggie Athletics.
Thanks, Brian.
Take care.